Well, freaking crap, YouTube. What is going on? Air Carthage here, and some of you may be saying, Air, what, for your 20th video you're just doing an Empire Online battle? No, this is not my 20th celebration video. I am going to hold off on the 20th celebration video until I get a video that I deem worthy for you, but I didn't want to continue to make you go without. So here is some sweet Empire Total War Online action. Now, I say sweet. My performance in these battles is quite below what I expect that I should be able to do, which I'm not trying to say I'm amazing, but I should definitely be able to play better than this. Will I win? You will see. What will I do wrong? What will I do right? What will my opponent do wrong? What will he do right? Who knows as we watch this. So let me introduce you to my army. I am playing as United Provinces, so we got some Holland pride going on here. So for all of you United Provinces fans of mine, or I guess known as Holland today, or whatever it is, I get all kinds of European stuff wrong, so don't get on to me if I do. My heart is in the right place, I promise. These are some Meat Shield Militia I have. Thank you, boys, for being willing to die for Patchy. I've got one Meat Shield Militia unit. I've got over here 2 Holland Guard. These are some sweet Guard units. That's right. I've got a Garde du Corps here, which is a Guard Cavalry, basically. Light Dragoons. I've got a General's Bodyguard, 2 Swiss Infantry, which are a little bit faster reload than regular infantry, 2 Line Infantry, and then over on this side I have the infamous Blue Guard. So these guys are quite deadly. You can see my artillery firing over here. I am once again using Diggy's artillery sounds, Diggy's musket sounds, and also the Blood and Smoke mod. So you should be getting some sweet effects. My artillery in this battle, it's going to be looking quite good, sounding quite good, but doing very little. Let's take a look at my opponent's army. He's got up front 4 Tyrolers. He's got an 18-pounder Horse Guard artillery, so a very expensive artillery unit there. He's got a 24-pound howitzer unit, which should be out of range of my units. He's got some line infantry here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, he's got 4 line infantry, Bukele's regiment, however you say it, and an Infantrevo. I'm sure I didn't say that right. And then he's got a bunch of Chasseurs à Cheval and 1 Chevaux Léger Lancer. So looks like 4 shooter cav out there. So my opponent has, numerically speaking, a cav advantage. He definitely has an artillery advantage. As you can see, my artillery is already getting smoked, literally. As you can see these guys over here. So my artillery is going to do little, if any, good whatsoever at this point. And I'm not sure this replay is going to be spot on, because I remember my artillery was slightly more alive than it is at this moment. At least I thought it was. I don't really remember. But hopefully the replay still turns out good. So my opponent has the ranged advantage with his artillery. He's got the skirmishing advantage with his skirmishers. I, however, have the infantry advantage because I have 3 guard units, 2 Swiss foot, all of which are better than most of his infantry. His only 2 redeeming infantry units are these 2 over here, Bukele's regiment and this Infantrevo. And both good units, but not quite as good as what I've fielded, so I'm going to have to push my infantry advantage. Now, you're going to see me take this Holland Guard, so check this out. Got my Blue Guard over here, sorry. I'm going to start moving them to the flank. And I'm also going to move my Garde du Corps to the flank. They've taken a few hits from my the enemy artillery stray fire that's coming towards my artillery. So yeah, taking a little stray fire there. And then I'm also planning on using my meat shield over here. So in Empire Total War, one thing you may remember that's quite different than Napoleon Total War is the reload times. Many people hated this. While I agree, well, actually, you know what? I think the reload times in this game are great. It makes for some very interesting strategy, because when you time your shots becomes extremely important. So rather than being able to just move forward and throw your shots wherever you want them, you have to kind of think about it. So in any case, you can see my artillery is going to go ahead and bug out. So I have lost the artillery fight, and I'm now going to be at the mercy of the enemy artillery. Hopefully it will not cause me too much further damage. So at this point I determined that I'm going to have to scoot forward and begin the fight. So I scoot forward and let the skirmishing begin. So I've started skirmishing with his rifles. The exchange is pretty straightforward across the front. My opponent gets a few more kills than I do. If this skirmishing fight went on, he would obviously win because he's got more skirmishers. The land is fairly flat through here, but it is blocking some of the shots. Let's see if we can spot where the enemy artillery is firing at. I don't see it landing over here. But you can see that I am still making flanking gestures on this side. And then I'm going to go ahead here soon and start making them on the other side. Because right now I was still kind of considering my battle plan. This skirmish was going to be long and drawn out, and so I was not in a particular hurry to go ahead and make an attack until I'd kind of thought it through. So at this time I'm thinking through my attack. And I guess I'll go ahead and tell you what my plan is. My plan is to push with these blue guard and this garde du corps for support. I'm going to push this flank. I'm going to have my rifles absorb the fire in the center while moving my line infantry forward to engage only his rifles. If my opponent is smart, he will pull back. If he is not smart, then he will allow his rifles to stay there and be killed. He has not retargeted his artillery, which is also another big mistake. On this side, I'm going to use my militia meat shield to once again engage at his rifles and disrupt his line infantry while taking my Holland Guard into battle and allowing their superior stats to do their thing. And then I'll use my cavalry for support on this flank as well. So that's my general attack plan. We will see how my opponent decides to react. So I go ahead and scoot my skirmishers further forward, because like I said, reload times in Empire are significantly slower, and with all this terrain and trees, the skirmish battle is going to go nice and slow, which is going to allow me to make my attack. So here you can see some of the exchange of fire. There's my riflemen taking their shots, and his riflemen are firing back. So like I said, pretty fair exchange right now. Not a whole lot of big stuff going on here. Here's my militia meat shield moving forward. They've already come under fire from his rifle units. You can see some of them going down in a small cloud of blood. Thank you very much, Blood Mod. And I'm going to keep charging these militia forward. And that was the whole idea of these units, is just to get them shot to pieces in order to get my men into position. My opponent reacts to my flanking by moving his Bokelli's regiment into position. But I'm slowly following up with my Holland Guard as well. So I will be ready to fight back. My militia are going to charge in and disrupt the enemy rifles and line infantry. Like I said, giving myself a chance to position. On this flank, I'm running my blue guard forward. Here they go. The blue guard is the most powerful infantry unit available to the United Provinces. The French player is not fielding the most powerful infantry units available to them, which would be Swiss Guard. And I do believe Swiss Guard are right on par with these guys, if not maybe a little bit better than the Blue Guard. The Swiss Guard are an excellent unit in this game. So I'm going to move my Blue Guard clear up into range. My opponent's attention is elsewhere, which is what I hope for. So Blue Guard typically fires in platoon, but since this is against cavalry, they'll fire slightly different. And so you can see that they quickly are starting to cause some damage on the enemy cavalry up there. So their firing is a little bit different, like I said, versus cavalry. But typically they would fire in platoon, I think. Unless maybe this unit just behaves differently. I don't recall. But I'm going to quickly rout these Chasseurs Saval because my opponent is not paying attention. You can see that I have made my push in the center. So now my line infantry is right behind my rifles, ready to start taking shots towards the enemy troops. See if we can show you the overhead here. So you can see in the center my opponent did not reinforce with his line infantry quick enough. And then over on the flank my Holland Guard has engaged his Bokelli's regiment. These guys should be firing by platoon. I hope I didn't just shoot my own guys in the back, but I kind of thought I may have. My light dragoons should feasibly be able to fire over the backs of my men, but you never know, sometimes that doesn't work out. And my guys just dropped in number pretty quickly. These guys are over here firing in platoon. So you can see the pretty sweet effects added by the blood and smoke bomb. So I am absolutely wrecking his light infantry, which was unsupported. My opponent now realizes a mistake, starts to move his line infantry forward, but they've been taking the stray bullets from the line fight. And also, since his men are routing, it's going to start to cause some concern by right effects. And then not only that, my Blue Guard is moving on his flank. And I made a heavy cavalry charge to disrupt his line infantry on this side. So my garde du corps went in. He followed them with his Lancer unit, which he reallocated earlier to face my flanking threat. And I have 4 squares now on this flank. But squares may save him from my cavalry, which I should have pulled out, but I did not. But they will not save him from my Blue Guard, which is going to make a move on his flank. And then I've also moved forward my other line infantry units, so his squares are now going to die quickly. On this flank, due to me shooting up my own Holland Guard, My opponent's doing much better. I'm kind of holding off the fight with his cav. Since he has a superiority, I'm in no hurry to engage it. So I'm wanting to give my infantry time to try and square out this fight as much as possible. I do rip up his Bokelli's regiment. And watch what happens when my blue guard gets in range of this infantry square. They're going to quickly... well, it didn't even get to fight them. It routed before they started firing. So my guys are reloading and preparing to fire. They have to all get reloaded, I think, and start firing in platoon. There they go. Loving the new musket sounds. They are pretty sweet. Anyway, so you can see they quickly routed them, and I'm just going to start wrapping up the enemy flank. So I'm just going to keep pushing my blue guard forward, and all I had to do was fall back my flank on this side where my opponent was winning, and I'll just stall him with my cavalry while I wrap up his now vulnerable flank. So once again, my blue guard are in position, and they're going to start opening fire on this square. And the square is also taking fire from the front. My opponent was not very quick to react. Of course, neither was I in this battle, so I'm not going to act like I was particularly doing great. You can watch these units just get cut down under heavy fire from multiple units. I'm no longer concerned about this square, so I go ahead and start moving my blue guard forward. We're going to move up an even heavier flank maneuver. You can see my Swiss infantry pulling forward as well. I think it's my... oh no, this is just my line infantry. My Swiss infantry's over here. So again, you can see my opponent winning this flank, but me wrapping up this flank hard. He's pretty much got no chance left of saving this flank. You can see he's got another line infantry there. His artillery's nearby, and I start to charge it, which I was thinking to charge it, but then I saw he was reallocating this line infantry, and I didn't want my blue guard to get shot up while they were in melee with the artillery. So we get to watch a cool bayonet charge, and blue guard and melee is going to be extraordinarily dangerous to my opponent here. So you can see here comes the melee charge against his line infantry, and my blue guard should have no problem wrapping these guys up. So it's going to be a pretty sweet fight going on here. To watch some of the cool animations. I like how Empire Total War added those. I wish there was blood and melee though, with the blood and smoke mod. That'd be pretty sweet, but oh well. It's still pretty darn fun to watch. So you can see my, like I said, my blue guard is just going to absolutely hack this unit to bits. It's already down to 74. And I've got some other line infantry moving out here to attack his artillery piece to keep it from firing. The other French line infantry in this vicinity is going to get quickly wrapped up. In fact, actually just ignore some of his units and try and get ready to take out this infantry bow. And it looks like we have his Bokelli's regiment almost dead, but not quite. My opponent did kind of win the cavalry fight, but he hasn't taken the time to bring this unit back in to the fight yet. You can see my blue guard's almost finished off this line unit. I love watching the epic melee fights on Empire Total War, so getting into a melee fight is always one of my favorite things to do. Oh yeah, duke it out. These guys have some pretty sweet animations. But these French line infantry, they do hold out for a long time. I was surprised, but like I said, completely outmatched when it comes to melee stats. And now they're going to get surrounded. So as if they weren't dead already, they're definitely dead now. The other French line infantry unit in this vicinity has been engaged by another line infantry unit of mine, so they're also in melee. And then on this flank, I'm going to actually shoot it out with the remainder of the French. I think there's a few glitches going on here due to the replay. I don't recall just having this unit run around, and I believe this infantry bow had routed by now, but most of the replay is accurate. You can see this Chasseral Cheval is going to get finished off by my Holland Guard. The remainder of the infantry units over here routing. My opponent does have some units that come back from routing, and he's going to start trying to move them back into the fight at this point as well. This is going to be the end of the French elite infantry. They're going to get shot up by my Holland Guard over there. So the looks like the Holland Guard and Blue Guard prevailed on the day over the elite French troops, or at least the couple of elite French troops that were there. Let's get the unit statistics. You can see that my Blue Guard did indeed get the most kills. They pretty much beasted it up, and then one of my Holland Guard did really good as well. So my infantry superiority shows in the numbers here. It also shows that my opponent didn't reinforce his rifles properly. I have to apologize for some of my poor micro throughout that fight, and also the weirdness on the replay. But I figured you all might like some of this footage nonetheless. I love Empire Total War, and sometimes I feel like I didn't give this game enough time.